Right, let's get going, Dunners. Remember, this podcast is brought to you by Ballygowan, Ireland's #1 branded mineral water.
Yes, you're dead right, Tommy. Ballygowan is 100% Irish and is bottled at source in Newcastle West in County Limerick. Go on, Limerick.
No wonder it tastes so good. Yes, it's also the proud sponsor of the IRFU and the official water partner of Irish Rugby.
Yes, we know it too well. Hydration is an essential component of elite sport, but it is also important that we all drink enough water daily. So why don't you grab yourself a bottle of Ballygowan and enjoy the pod.
Right, Dunners, what's the crack? How's things? All good?
No, I'm good, Tommy. Yeah, I was over there at the weekend. I'm buzzing still from it. It was great. The atmosphere. Whoa, Murrayfield.
Really?
It's on.
Yeah. To be fair, there was so much talk in the run-up to that game. Like, we'll get into that a little bit later on, but it looked like an epic atmosphere. And to be fair, Ireland, what a start from them as well.
Hold on. I think there's small learnings, though. Can I tell you a small learning that we need to be better at? Scotland are ahead of us on something. You know the way we're all worried the Aviva? No, it was brilliant against England.
Yeah.
So and the singing was amazing.
I'm gonna guess what you're gonna say here. Can I guess?
Yes.
The bagpiper on the top of the stadium.
No, but I like it.
We need a bagpiper on. We need Michael Flatley on top of the Aviva.
Put Flatley up on the Aviva. All of us giving it the dance, wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance city.
Can you imagine them the tapping?
Brilliant.
Unbelievable.
That would be deadly. No, this is even more Irish that the Scots have beat us with. They sell bags of cans, man. You can go to the match and buy a bag of cans.
And this is from a non-drinker.
This is from a non-drinker. Everyone stays in their seats. You're there with your bag of cans. Like, is there anything more Irish than a bag of cans?
Wow. Is it like a blue and white Paul Mescal? Was it Paul Mescal or Harry Styles?
One of those
down
ones.
to Dalkey, to the 40 foot with a bag of cans in the bottom.
But I was just looking at it. Everyone was just grabbing their cans, going in and watching the match. And if they were going and watching 4 for the first half or whatever they were, 2 among friends or whatever, handing cans over, I was there like, cans are the answer.
Well, it is true, because it's one thing that's so annoying about the Aviva. And I love a few pints, so I'm probably guilty of this as well. But if you're there to genuinely watch the match and get really invested in it, and you're up, down for people walking past with their 3, 4, 2 pints, and it's spilling on your shoes, and it does get a bit annoying. So bag of cans all the way.
Well done, Murrayfield. We learned nothing off ye on the pitch, but off it. Honestly, what an atmosphere, what a place. Like, we'll get into the rugby. Honestly, how poor were Scotland? Like, genuinely.
Oh, they were poor. But to be fair, I actually think it was more we were unbelievably good and probably should have won by a lot more, because it was a hell of a, like, the start in the first half. They were unbelievable. Well done to Ireland. All the pressure,
we're doing it,
all
man.
the naysayers,
we are chatting
all the questions.
Rugby on this podcast. Oh my goodness. Will we go
move
for it?
on.
Because I know everyone went on about the unbelievable collision between Finn Russell and Darcy Graham, which I must say, you know, one of those collisions where it actually sickens your stomach around the stadium. There was this horrible kind of moment, and hopefully both of them are okay. You know what I mean? We heard Darcy Graham was in hospital and Finn had to be taken off the pitch. So that's all you ever want. But before that happened, we could have scored 3 tries before that. We could have been up 31 points, 32 points. By the time that happened, that game was over, like, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was. It was. And listen, exactly, that collision was just... And you know, when you're a player and that happens, you know, sometimes you're there and there's a bad injury and it takes a long time. It's hard to maintain your concentration. You know, you see the players getting into 4s and they do the passing along, but sometimes it's cold, it's miserable, it's wet. You're trying to stay in the zone. It's actually really difficult to try and stay present and get yourself back up for a game without losing focus.
Also, as well, when you see a really bad injury, you kind of shrink a little bit, isn't it? Yeah. The reality of what you're doing kind of comes home. You know, when you watch a game, when you're a professional player, Tommy, and you haven't played for a while, you're there. This game is bananas.
It's one of those. I'm not going out there. I'm doing that, am I? It's definitely different from it was a few months ago.
Yeah. Now, full credit to the Scottish medical team. They thought that Finn Russell wasn't right even after passing the HIA test. I want to be a little bit careful with this because I have a different opinion and I'm worried about it. For me, any head collision, I think 3 weeks out of the game. If you take a bang on the head, boom, that's it. Look after the player. We know that there is a big problem with concussion in our game, and I think we should be protected. But if they're going to go through the HIA protocols and they pass it, I was just thinking there though, could you imagine Sam Warburton, Martin Johnson, Rory Best, Paul O'Connell, Brian O'Driscoll, any of those captains being told you've passed the HIA, but I'm not leaving you on the pitch? I promise you, no medic would have stopped them.
No, exactly. They would have been... remember Brian O'Driscoll? Remembering that was his last game for Ireland? I mean,
incredible.
To be fair, how he came back onto the pitch after his knock on the head. But yeah, it's impossible to hold him back. But I don't know about the 3 weeks. I do question that sometimes, thinking, surely when you see them back the following week, there's something not right there. But we actually had some neuroscientists on the show on Ireland End this morning talking about it's actually the repeated brain injuries that is an issue more so than the big off ones. But listen, credit to the Scottish medical team for looking after them, and I think they did the right thing taking them both off the pitch. Agreed. Here, talking of medical team, I want to talk to you because we're giving it, obviously we're talking all about Ballygowan, our proud sponsors. Hydration. Here we go.
Hydration's
whether you're
key.
A professional player or not. Remember,
there she is, Baveen. She's back, baby. She's back in the Irish squad. Go on, Baveen.
Well done, Baveen, the extended Irish women's squad. Fair play. Here, do you remember though the amount of water? Remember drug testers, right? You used to have to go in, and they'd either come knock on your door in the morning at the hotel, if you're like, so they'd normally come at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're lying in the bed and someone's knocking the door. Who the hell is knocking here? And you're like, oh no, the testers are here. Or then they'd come and get you after a match.
Or else was a nightmare.
Come to your house. And remember, you had to give them your address, and sometimes they come to your house.
You're doing me here. You're setting me up. I know what you're at, Tommy. I know what you're at.
Tell us the story about the time the drug testers turned up to your house.
You're fishing for a story, Tommy. Do you know what? I regret telling you stuff back in the day, but this was a story that rippled around the squad, basically down to my stupidity, to be completely honest. So Tommy's right. We used to have to give a whereabouts, so you always filled it in for... and the safest thing we were told, to be fair, the RFU used to do, give your address and say between the hours of 6 or 7 in the morning when you'd know you'd most likely be in bed, and then you would change that if you were going to be away, if the Irish team were touring or stuff like that, so they'd know. But then there was also random tests, wasn't there, that they could just turn up out of nowhere, and that's what happened to me one evening. I was sitting down. I was watching. I think I was watching I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and it was kind of like 4:30, 5:30, knock on the door, and I went out to check who it was, and you know the way you're not fully engaged, and they were like, I'm here to do the test. I was, yeah, come in. I brought him around the corner of my house and showed him where the ESB boxes. So I was there, I don't have a key to open that yoke, but surely, and they were like, sorry, we're doing the test on you. We're here from WADA, and we're doing a drug test. I was like, oh geez, that's highly embarrassing. Jeez, yeah. So Tommy, I thought I got away with it, and I was kind of embarrassed, but you're there like, you know what I mean, no one's around, so I got away with that one. It obviously got on well, and you always did with the drug testers.
They're always sound, yeah.
Yeah,
that's a thankless job. That's a job you don't want.
No, it isn't. Honestly, watching someone take a piss into a pot, like,
and
you know what I mean?
People don't understand. Like, they're there, like within a foot, keeping a good eye exactly where the water is coming from.
Yeah.
Making sure that everything is right. They have to. Have you? This is embarrassing. Have you ever been there? Whenever like. So they might turn up like that, or first thing in the morning, and you don't need to go to the toilet. Maybe you've been to the toilet or whatever else. And they kind of say, so you're kind of drinking loads of water and you're trying to get into you, and you're like, I can't go. But then when like a number 2 comes
no way it didn't. No way, Tommy. No way.
They have to sit there through that, Gunners, as well. Now, they should get double pay for that.
You did not. You did not sit down on the jacks and give him a sample from there,
Well,
did
what
you?
do you do? I couldn't do one without the other.
Oh, that is so embarrassing.
And you know,
Brilliant.
like you're trying to make it. You're trying to be like delicate, but I mean, sometimes when you've drank that much water, your bowels aren't thinking straight. You're maybe a couple of days out from
Controlling the
test match.
bowels is very, very difficult.
You're in a very high protein diet at that stage.
Oh, yeah.
That is a task. To be fair to any of the drug testers, when they turn up and you can't go, they're sitting around for hours, and then you say, do you know what, is it okay if I go sit in the toilet?
Tommy, you absolute animal. God
It's what you can do. What do you do?
But remember, it got to the point where, because you knew, especially after a match, if you were called aside for drug testing, it's going to be ages before you're able to go to the toilet.
Because you're so dehydrated after a match,
Yeah. So it became a thing around our squad anyway that you had to introduce your drug tester. You know what I mean? This is Sean. He's going to be with me for the next hour, lads. Sean, say hi to the room, and everyone's, hi, Sean, how are you?
But you remember, like, the whole team would be in the showers. Like, we'd all be showering beside each other. And at that stage, the drug tester being assigned to you. So you have, like, 3 drug testers just standing in the showers. While we're all
holding
showering.
shampoo for BJ Botha.
We're all shouting and roaring and
Asking him
chatting.
advice. Did I get all that tape off my back, fella?
The 3 lads are just sitting there. Oh, I remember one time I used to room with, I think it was Trimby down in Carton House, and it'd be pitch black. You'd have the room, the blackout curtains, whatever else. You'd be wrecked from training, and the knock on the door would go, and I remember you're kind of in such a daze. You wake up, and the fella goes, hi, I'm the drug tester. I'm here for Andrew Trimble. I'm like, okay. So I kind of like...
And then you're there, the ESP box is over here.
Oh, well, I'm like, happy days. It's not me.
Yes.
Brilliant. So like I turn around and like walk back into the room and said, Trimby, he's for you. And then, but like, I didn't realize that I just left the door closed thinking he'd stay behind, but he like shuffled in past me. So I went and just like threw down the tracksuit bottoms, t-shirt off, and tried to jump into bed. He was standing there, bounced into, like jumped on top of him on the bed. It was pitch black. I couldn't see him. He got the shock of his life.
But what happened... I never finished it, Tommy. What happened to me was the drug testers after me went down to Strings. At the time, he was living down in Harty's Quay. So when they were finished with me, and of course, like Strings, complete pro and just all round good guy, he got on quite well with the drug testers, and they told him, come here, what's the story with your man O'Callaghan? When we went up to see him, he brought us out to the ESB box. Well, Strings was honestly on the floor, and the next day I came into training, all I could see was like him down telling all the lads, and they were all like, yeah, flute. So we got back to the lads that their Donners thought they were actually reading your meters instead of drug testing you.
I'm here for the tester. Yeah, it's just in the back here, just behind the boiler there.
Drive on there. Do you want a cuppa while you're at it?
Do you want a cup of tea?
We're watching I'm a Celebrity here, if you're keen. Barry McGuigan's flying.
So did he like, were you able to go straight away? Did he sit down at the sofa and watch the TV with you? Like,
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, because you know it better than anyone, Tommy. You don't want to not make the mark. Sure, you don't. You want to be certain.
You have to get over a certain amount of water into the sample. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You don't want to be going out with little squirts.
Yeah, no, you don't. And being short, because then you're honestly wasting the window. But
You're
then
really
they leave, and you're not getting a decent night's sleep because you're heading to the jacks every 2 minutes. Do you know what though? What became very handy, and I know people have different. I know there's kind of religious beliefs and different things with, but when they started taking blood or they started taking armpit hair, do you remember? And like
armpit hair. I never had
hair.
that
When
done.
I was in England, they took armpit hair, and it was so simple.
That's more drug testing, I'd say, is it?
Oh, well, it's all the one, really, isn't it? Like,
it is, of course it is. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no. But
I never saw that armpit
some of
hair,
them might have
right.
been even internal testing.
So did they pluck an armpit hair? That'd be sore.
Which?
The plucking an armpit hair? Or
No,
did you
they don't
shave?
pluck it. They just cut it with a scissors.
Oh, of course, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
Tommy, Tommy, it won't be the last time I say it today. You dope.
I'm up since 4 o'clock. Brain is not working.
You
Wasn't
need to
working
get
this morning
hydrated,
either.
fella. Get it into you. Get it into you.
But to be fair, the blood testing exactly was very handy as well. And, you know, whether you're scared of needles or not, you get in, get the bloods done. But I remember I had to get the bloods and the urine all in the one day, one time. And I just quickly as well, I remember I had to get my... I got picked. So didn't they pick you random? They had all the numbers upside down, and then the test would just go that one, that one, that one, and then they turn it over. But I remember my first test back was 20 in the old Lansdowne Road. Such a proud day. You just wanted to get the game over with and go up and see your parents. And I remember I got tested that day. And I'm sitting there, it take ages, and my parents are upstairs in the after function, and they're there just waiting to see me with brother, sister, the whole lot, and I'm there hours. So that was a disaster.
That's a nightmare. Because you always hope they could be a little bit creative. Remember before how they did it once in a squad I was in with Munster? They gave us all a card from a deck of cards, whoever had the 4 aces had to go.
Oh, nice.
For drug testing. But at least it was a bit of crack. So you took your card and you were like, 3 of spades, But imagine if they were there, okay, you can play off against the aces. He can pick someone and he play a game at 21 to see who gets drug tested.
I mean, we're not trying to get away from being drug tested. It's just such a pain in the hole.
We just want more crack around us.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it used to wreck my head.
Good on them. We must say though, Tommy, it is important that the game's clean and that Yeah. So I must say it was a pain in the ass, but it was never a problem. If you know what I mean, because I always deemed that let's make sure we're all tidy.
But I think I was maybe a bit naive back in those days as well. I'm kind of thinking what do we even do? What who's cheating?
Can I embarrass myself?
Go on.
Can I embarrass myself? There was one time after Sophie was born, she was teething, and I remember I was giving her some Calpol in the night, and you know those syringes that comes in the kind of, or maybe it's Norvin. I put it in my mouth, so I kind of had it.
Oh, I love that. it. Yeah.
And then I was there I don't know, is that thing WADA tested? You know what I mean? And it's been in my mouth. And I remember straight away, could have been maybe 1 a.m. I rang Tig O'Sullivan. I left a voice message. I was there, Tig, what's the story with Calpol? Is there this idiot thinks he can get done for taking on Calpol?
For Calpol. But Dunners, I know Calpol's a different thing. But I remember Lemsip Max.
Yes, that's right.
So you couldn't take a Lemsip Max from Northern Ireland, but you could take one from the south. Yeah. Because there was a difference in the type of paracetamol or whatever in it, and whatever was in, or no, it was like the Sudafed. Oh yes, so it was phenylephrine was in the one, I think, from the north, and phenyl something elsedrin was in the one from the south, but one was on the banned list and one wasn't. So that's insane. Do you mean, actually, can you imagine people listening to this now thinking that we could actually have potentially got a 2-year ban for taking a Lemsip Max?
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
But then again, we were really well educated, Tommy, weren't we? And to be fair, we were told any medication you were getting was coming from the team doc. Do you remember you bring the team doc in when you had to fill out everything you took, and they were come on, that was an anti-inflammatory.
Calpol.
That was about 8 weeks ago, Donncha. You know what I mean? You had a dead leg. You're don't worry about it. I'm there. Jeez, get it on the sheet.
Jeez, I had a protein shake there yesterday as well. Get that on. Do you
know what? I stopped taking when I was playing. I stopped. Remember we used to all get the smoothies going through the airport and stuff like that. It was a right treat.
Monkey business. Remember monkey business? With the peanut butter.
But remember everyone would because education got better that we realised you need more protein, so everyone was throw a scoop in it. And then my paranoia kicked in, and I was there. We don't know, is that protein batch tested? You know what I mean? That could be falling off a lorry somewhere, and there we are all with our old monkey business giving it the hey
going through Dublin Airport, and all of a sudden Were there in a van, yeah.
Yeah,
But
the paranoia
you did
was
put
frightening.
so much trust in the doctors, and as you say, like you're there ringing your doctor at 9 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the morning, and he's there going, "Yes, you're fine, you absolute dope." I have loads more stories on that as well, actually,
Brilliant.
but we'll crack on. Here, we have to talk quickly about you being disaster dad. After we did the podcast the other day last week, you had a shocker. You left Jake, your son, at the pool again.
Yeah, that's why we've made a promise. I'm on it again today. We're going to keep this pod short, and it's not for like we know we go on a little bit, and sorry if we do, but sometimes we're getting to the point now where it's actually interfering with my family.
But we did do a little bit of rugby there at the top, so I mean that's a taster.
Hopefully, you've enough rugby there and that.
So yeah, we're going to try and keep it a little bit tighter. So let's move on to the rugby chat. Before we do that, of course, we do want to give a shout out again to Ballygowan Natural Mineral Water for supporting the podcast. Really appreciate it, everybody.
Yeah, did you know that Ballygowan has a range of flavoured waters? Ballygowan Hint of Fruit. They're available in a variety of flavour, and they're always sugar-free. Today, Tommy, I'm on strawberry. Look at this. I thought do you know what? I'm using it as in a little celebration of Wales, because I actually think Wales are getting a bit of a kicking at the moment, and I want to show the love for Wales. We're coming into Valentine's Day, and I just think that was my way of kind of...
What, are you having leek flavour? Surely Wales is leeks, not strawberries.
No, I just went, it's the Ballygowan Hint of Strawberry, and it was red enough to just remind me. And do you know what? If you're a good egg and you've a Welsh friend, be sound at the moment. Like, you know what I mean? Bring them for a drink, or bring them for a coffee, or just ring them and tell them you love them, because I do feel for Wales. I think they're taking an unbelievable kicking at the moment, and they're beautiful people. They're so important to rugby. They were always our greatest rivals, Tommy, weren't they? When you went out against those guys, and I'm feeling for them at the moment because it's a difficult time.
You see how quickly they've fallen. I mean, to think that it's only a couple of years ago they won a Grand Slam. They were always our toughest competitor. Unbelievable. Some of the players and teams. And I'm in a WhatsApp group with a load of the Welsh lads. And they're hurting at the minute. It's tough because, you know, to lose against Italy the second year in a row in the Six Nations, and you wonder where they're going to go. Warren Gatland has now stepped away. Interesting, though, Simon Easterby, who is leading Ireland at the minute. So Simon lives in Wales still, right? He's obviously played for Llanelli Scarlets, an unbelievable servant to them, was their head coach before coming into the Irish setup. And he has been linked fairly heavily to the job. Now, the IRFU have said there is a massive, and it is, I think it's like $500,000 buyout clause, which we know the WRU probably can't afford. No. But I actually think, and I don't want him to go because he's obviously doing such a brilliant job with Ireland, but he's not going to get the top job in Ireland. Andy Farrell is going to be there for the next while. I'm sure he lives in Wales. Surely he must be looking at this going, you know what? This is an amazing opportunity for me to try and bring through, you know, I'll have a couple of years to try and bring through a couple of really strong young players and, you know, build on this.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Of course, there's a lot of desirable jobs. And of course, I think he could not only bring his rugby smarts and everything that he has, but he's got a passion like no one else as well. And like talking out with him for Ireland and then going up against him with Llanelli, you know he cares. So I think he would be an ideal fit. I don't know, is that the most important role that needs to be filled in Wales at the moment? I think they need someone like David Nusafora. Someone has to start holding everyone to account in terms of what's going on in the club game and that level. Because Wales has been in free fall for a little bit of time now. And Tommy, we would have always said it was the frustrating thing. We would play against some of these Welsh players, you know, some of your teammates with the Ospreys or other lads, like, I don't mean to name out names, but Michael Owen. You play against Michael Owen with the Dragons or with Gwent, and you put him in a Welsh jersey, man, and he turned into Superman.
They grow 3 feet, don't they?
It was incredible. It was incredible. And look, I feel for Gatland because honestly, he is a good man. You know what I mean? Of course, we've all had our ups and downs, but that's life. We all go through different things. But I think what I do remember about Warren was his ability to coach. Warren came to one of our, we were at an under-20s World Cup in Argentina, and he came out to keep an eye on it, but also he started coaching, and it was the first time I ever got coached about the breakdown. His level of detail at the breakdown, so things that we would think are normal now, called L-ing in, and also body fight on the ground. He was teaching that to me when I was 19 years of age. And I just worry, has the game rolled another stuff, another level? Do the modern coaches need to be the Simon Easterbys, the Felix Jones, the Ronan O'Gara's, you know what I mean, the Stephen Jones?
Yeah, well, I think Warren Gatland, and he's an unbelievable motivator. That was one of my big things with him, and was unbelievably successful with the likes of Wasps, with Wales. You know, some of the success that he got them to, but unfortunately, maybe this is just a bridge too far. I think, right, Dunners, and I've said this a couple of times in the last couple of years, I played in Wales, played for the Ospreys. I found a lot of the club teams, the club game is huge over in Wales. And we are so lucky in Ireland that we have got 4 provinces that have been here a long, long time before any of us. So it was easy for us to identify with the province. But they tried to create 4 provinces. Yeah. And it's literally 4 teams all within about an hour and a half. Yeah. So in terms of player numbers, they don't have enough. How do you bring in the sponsors that are enough? And then as well as that, like if you're from, say, Merthyr Tydfil, or you're from up in the valleys, Brecon Beacons, you know, like really strong heartland of rugby, but you're then told to go and support Cardiff. You know, they were your arch enemies. So those people are like, oh, you have to support Cardiff because that's the only team, you know, they're your affiliate. Or if you're way out west in Caerphilly, you have to go and support the Dragons. They're like, well, no, they're not my team. So what my solution is, Donncha, right? Instead of 4 teams, right? Split South Wales in 2. You have the West Walians from Bridgend across to the west, all the way across there. They can all identify as being West Walians, and they'll all be proud to represent that team. And the other side is the East Walians. Turn them into the East Walian Easter bunnies, whatever you want to call them. But they can
needs a better name, but we'll work on it.
They can all buy into be 2 really strong teams, and then have a team up in North Wales who would have been seen. Like Connacht aren't that now, but whenever there was talk of being a development team, or like an Ulster, you could even say at times as well, have a team up north where the excess players go up and play up there. So you have 3 teams in Wales, and they all play in the URC instead of 4. But I just think you'd be easier to get sponsors. You'd have much more bigger player pool. Like, can you imagine if they joined the Scarlets and the Ospreys together and all the players? Like, that'd be a hell of a team.
But Tommy, are you adding to the problem that was already there? Like you mentioned the Caerphillys, the Rumneys, the Ebbavales. Well, look, we used to play against those. Ponty. Like, those teams were incredible to play against, and they nearly turned their backs on them. Like, I'm just going to say...
But you're not calling them a Cardiff. You're calling them the East. So they are all East.
But why not just call them Cardiff? Why not bring the Scarlets back to Clonettley? There you've got 2 already. You know what I mean? And then, you know what I mean, run it out between the other 2 for...
But like Swansea and Bridgend hate Clonettley.
I agree. 100%.
So this could be like them saying, right, you're going to play for Dublin or support Dublin.
Yeah, but I think we're there. Unfortunately, you're right. We were so lucky down to kind of like the way Ireland set up. The 4 provinces always made sense. It was just such a good way of setting it up. Unfortunately, Wales don't have that, and trying to create it has caused trouble. I think they needed to tap into what they have. They have brilliant clubs with history. Like, you go in,
but that's 10 clubs, Dunners. You know, I don't know how you do. How do you bring, like, the problem with the WRU is actually the clubs have so much power over there. There's no real professional game board over there because the club have such a say. So you actually have an amateur game very, very involved in the professional game, and it just doesn't work. You know, it just doesn't work, and you have to separate them. And actually, instead of separating and bringing it back to the old clubs, you actually need to find a way. How do we bring Welsh rugby together to bring out the best in them? And listen, it's not long ago they were very successful. Like, we're not poo-pooing at all, but we want to see the best for Welsh rugby. Absolutely.
We 100% do. They're too important. And more important than that, they are beautiful people. They're like, I swear we hopped off each other. I've no bones in saying that I hated them, but when I toured with them, man, I loved every one of them. Like, what beauties to be around. And I don't like the kicking they're getting at the moment. You see other kind of platforms slagging them off. Would our 20s beat them? Would we beat them with 12? The disrespect towards Wales isn't good right now. What they need is a bit of a love bombing. You know what I mean? Like, Wales, they've been more successful than England have been in the past history. I think we can't lose fact that they're too important. And look, I'm just throwing that out. Should World Rugby say, how can we help? You know what I mean? Like, we've lost London Irish, Wasps, Worcester. We've lost clubs. Like, here we have a country pretty much needing a bit of help. And I think, you know what I mean? I think everyone should get involved and try to help them out. World Rugby should be saying, okay, how do we help here? If that's, you know what I mean?
Right. Do you know, and I don't know whether, World Rugby is the solution to this, but there definitely needs to be something done. And if they need the support in terms of money, whatever else, to do that. Now, you just mentioned it there. And listen, I know it's Jerry Gilroy and the boys not the ball trying to stir up shit here, but like, putting out this, would a 13-man Ireland beat Wales? That's the sort of stuff that gets pinned on the changing room wall.
But they've done that before as well. You know what I mean?
And
sorry.
I know it's trying to get clicks, and fair play to them. That's what their job is, and I get it. But like, that's why the Scots hate us now, and vice versa.
And the South Africans.
Yeah, like, yes, listen, Ireland are playing brilliant at the minute. It's fantastic and all, and we should celebrate and enjoy it. But be careful not to get too big for our boots here, because this could all go back to bite us.
Tommy,
and I know the lads are just winding there.
But you know that's them.
That used to piss me off if I was the opposition. I see
exactly. And it pissed you off if you were the players, because that is not the reflection of Ireland. But it gets used then because the lads are trying to, create kind of clickbait and try to get big moments. And we've seen it in Chasing the Sun, where they were used on stuff like that. That is not the view from the dressing room. And it'd be handy if those three lads wanted to tug out and be part of the Irish 13 that go on to take on those Welsh lads. You know what I mean? But it's a very good saying it in your fucking beautiful little studio sitting on your ass. But when you meet them full on and see how passionate and how much they give a shit, you know what I mean? And how hard they've had to work. I know they're going through a tough time, but those lads are busting their ass.
Yeah, absolutely. Going out there, trying to get the support in front of a big stadium and stuff as well. And that just feeds this frenzy and it makes Ireland, oh, look at them, too big for their boots. But, and it's not from the players, it's not from the coaches.
100%, and it's not from the kind of rugby people. It's not from rugby people. These are, again, journalists trying to get involved in the narrative. And I think it's really sad because, you know what, right now nobody is celebrating Ireland because of moments like that. Like, everyone, like, you listen to everyone else, they're chatting about at the weekend how poor Scotland were. We're turning into this hard to be liked, and it's not a reflection on the player pool because they're busting their nuts
and it's playing brilliant rugby.
Unbelievable, yeah, but it's just all that kind of, I think it really damages us. And what they have to realise as well is, you do have a platform, but you also have a responsibility for that. You know what I mean? I know you're fishing for clickbait and all that shit, but fucking when you put on your boots and lace them up and go against those lads, fair enough, you've earned the right.
And they'll be the first lads to jump on them whenever they do lose to Wales in 2 weeks 100%. Again. Listen, again, we just want to talk about it is the off week at the minute. We'll talk about that. So we have a couple of stories about the next off week, but it's also Origin week. So this is quite interesting in the URC that they're trying to go back to clubs, a little bit like what you're seeing with Wales, that they're asking all the clubs to go back wearing their club socks in the 2 matches and just trying to drum up a bit of support, because Six Nations is all encompassing. It's all people talk about. But it's about the clubs now. So Ospreys are playing against Leinster on Friday, Benetton, Ulster, Munster Scarlets and Connacht Cardiff all on Saturday as well. So look forward to that as well. Nice bit of rugby.
Club socks, did you ever do it? I did it for Babas. I actually really enjoy it. I think it's one of the special things for the Babas. I think it's good as well for URC. Like, not just saying it, but the last time Robin and Jake watched one of the games that was Origin, and they saw a few lads in con socks that they wear as well. get you more into it. So we need
I love
moments
it.
like this.
Listen. The club game is so important. It's where we all started the game of rugby. When you retire, it's where you go back to, to coach or whatever else. I think it's so important we look after the club game and to appreciate them. My regret, actually, I only played once for the Babas, and I wore club socks for that game as well. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why, but I wore Armagh socks, which is a club who I played with at one stage. When I left school, I played 1 or 2 games with Armagh. But I wish I had worn like one Armagh sock, one Monaghan sock, or a Queen's sock who I played a lot of rugby with. But I wore both. I'd never even thought of it, and I know it kind of upset a few of the clubs, and I do feel really bad about that.
Good on you, Tommy. I hate the double sock nonsense out of the lads. Wear your club socks.
But you see, well, technically my club would have been Monaghan then. Yeah, and then I didn't wear them, so I'm a bit gutted I didn't.
I think you can define it to where gave you the window, where gave you the love for it and the tools to get you on to the next level. So that's how I'd go a little bit. But I hate this kind of like, I'll wear half my school sock and then I'll roll it halfway down and I'll have my under-20s team or my college team on. You know what I mean? Wear your club socks, man.
So you're a con man. Always
I wore my con ones like that. I thought about it. For the Babas game, I thought about maybe wearing one Highfield and one con, or maybe one Christians, because Highfield was where I played underage rugby.
So but then I was there. Would you not have done that for Highfield? How amazing for them!
Yeah, of course. But they're the moments. But when I think of how did I get here, I got there because of the coaching I got. And I got there because Highfield. Of the... you look... you're right, I probably should have worn... Do you know what
it's a hard one. There's a bit of pressure. Clubs get up, rightfully so. Like, this is a moment for them. So it's a bit of a maybe dilemma for some of the players this weekend. But it's again a little nod to them, which I love it. I love it.
Do you know what? I got a call up to the Babas while I was on a UNICEF trip in Sierra Leone, and I was trying to explain it to the UNICEF staff out there that, you know what I mean, it's a real honour, and they had to kind of maybe jig a few flights and stuff like that so I could get home in time for it. We were playing Tonga in Thomond, and I got back in time for it. But before I left, they gave me a pair of their national socks, and I wore them in that match.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I just thought I'd been out there. So
you were kind of like, Sierra Leone, like, this is really important, but the Babas.
Yeah. No, Tommy, you're being harsh. I was on the flight home.
Fair play to you, man. No, honestly, I'm only messing. That's not fair. Because actually, what
Tommy,
you do...
you're a rat. You're lucky you're up north, man, because I honestly would pull you through the thing.
No, what you do with UNICEF, to be fair, it is amazing. Like, how many of those trips have you been on, actually?
About 12. Stop being so now. You're after jabbing me. So get out of it. You've taken the good out of it, Tommy. You've taken the good out of it.
You wore their socks. You stole their socks.
I should have worn the Highfield socks. You're dead right.
Very good. Very good. No, I love that. So it's going to be a great weekend as well. Quickly. Eddie Jordan looks like he's taking over London Irish.
Did you see this? Oh my goodness. We're back, baby.
Are we back? So what does this mean? Do they have to go all the way down to Division 1 or what?
I think that's where anyone that's looking to start, but I do believe, from what I'm hearing, an awful lot of the clubs would like that, because then you can build a structure, you can put things in place. But, like, let's be honest, of course I'm a Worcester head and I'd want them back, but I want all those teams back. Wasps, the history to...
sad,
Wasps.
Isn't it? Sad.
Very sad. But same London Irish. Look at all the greats, the great Irish people that played in
How
London
did it
Irish.
happen? It's so disappointing. The history, the legacy to fall apart, crumble as a club. It's just so sad. And they were going so well too. But that's great. Eddie
it looks good,
Jordan,
Tommy.
bring them
He's
back.
put a consortium in place, and look, he's someone that's been there and done it before in another game. And I like the idea of someone coming in with a different viewpoint. He will probably see that as a different model. Would you lose a Netflix contract if you had someone like Eddie Jordan negotiating it? Possibly
He'd
not.
be all over it. He knows 100%. Exactly the value of it.
He'd have a GoPro attached to the drug tester's head. Is that Tommy Bowe taking a shit?
Is that... Oh, Jesus, no, it's not. No, it's not. Oh, my God, turn it off. I mean, that's the sort of behind the scenes that we really want.
We all
want
that.
That's what Netflix really wanted.
Yeah. But great for London Irish. I hope someone can get involved in some ways as well with Worcester and with Wasps. And, like, looking at it as well at the moment, Tommy, Bath are making quite a few signings, man. They're going to get more and more dangerous, aren't they? With the squad they have, and they're adding to it. Totally.
No, it's going to be it's going to be a hell of a Oh, sorry, who's that? Sorry, I wasn't listening there. I was reading this notes. Who's made all these signings?
Sorry, my thing froze there.
Oh, sorry. Who did you say made all the signings?
Jake is playing Fortnite inside and it's starting to drain the Wi-Fi.
Brilliant. Listen, we said it was going to be a short one as well. I think that's nice and short for people as well. It is an off week in the Six Nations. So we have lots more to discuss coming up next week too, and hopefully another good guest, potentially a Welsh guest. Get a couple of stories in.
Brilliant. I'd love that.
Looking forward to that.
And as well, we ring them to tell them we love them. Tommy, can we just go through all the Welsh fellas in the phone today and just say, you know what I mean, we're there for you, we love you.
I honestly, there's still as funny as ever. Like, I actually think the Welsh lads, the more controversy that goes on, the funnier they get. I mean, it's literally when the whole world is falling apart, they go and they win a Six Nations. Like, I don't know how they do it, but they seem to find a way in adversity to find the light of it. But it is a tough one at the moment, and an interesting one potentially for Simon Easterby, who's doing a hell of a job in Ireland at the moment.
Jeez,
remember.
Really
we have our live show in the 3 Olympia. You'll guess by this podcast, if you haven't listened to us much, there's a little bit of rugby. There's a lot more crack. We have a huge amount more stories that we're saving up for that night. It's going to be a great night. And we've actually got some brilliant guests as well. So please do get on to Ticketmaster, on MCD, wherever you get your tickets. Come and see us. You'll have a great laugh.
You'll have a great night. It is for one night only. It is going to be kind of reckless, Tommy, isn't it? We are reckless. Kind of, in the words of kind of rugby, we're burning the boats, aren't we?
We are.
Like, it's all the stories.
Like, ticket sales are brilliant. Like, it's already going to be a brilliant atmosphere as well, but we want to get that place sold out and absolute rocking.
Yeah, and do you know what? Could I make an appeal?
Like Murrayfield with your bag of cans.
I don't know where you load bags of cans. We have to check that. Yeah.
Let's see if Michael Flatley will do a Lord of the Dance from the rooftops.
Something like that would be deadly, wouldn't it? There we go. We'll have to check out about the bags of cans, but it'll all be good.
We have 3 weeks, Stunners. 3 weeks for you to learn how to play the bagpipes. What do you reckon?
Well, I'll just do the Alistair Campbell one and hit on the mute button and go for it. Do you know who I'd appeal to, though? Can I actually make a personal call? Munster supporters, I would love to see you there. I'd love if the Munster supporters outweighed everyone else. We've done it in Croke Park. We've done it everywhere else. We travel all the time. Wait till they see La Rochelle in a few weeks' time. If you're stuck, if you're caught up there in Dublin, you come home. The 3 Olympia is home on the 5th. So get home, and we're going to... And Tommy, what a week to have it.
Stop licking up to them. They're all messaging going, oh yeah, you're all Munster now, but why you having the show in Dublin? There you go. That's what they're thinking. But listen,
because we're taking it back. We're turning Dublin red yet again, lads, because we're building the place.
Red and white. Come on, listen, everybody's welcome. Come and have a bit of crack. There'll be plenty of slagging, and I'll slag plenty of Munster supporters too. Love to have you there. If you like the podcast as well, please do like it, subscribe it. We'd love you to send it to your mates. Send it out to people who you know would enjoy the laughters, the stories. Keep following us, and check out Ballygowan as well. Get yourself a bottle with Joe McCarthy and Bavine on the top of it here.
Or the strawberry ones for the Welsh lads.
Dunners, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, mind yourself, Tommy.